What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, this is 4K Motoring. I've been in search of a good solution for a wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay solution for motorcycles that make it just easy to navigate on city streets and do basic trips with, and I think I found the one. I've recently been sent this product by Carpuride. It's their W702 model. It's a 7-inch touchscreen. Supposed to support the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and have a Bluetooth out to go to a helmet communicator, that sort of thing. Solving the problems of some of the recent videos I've done. If you guys have watched those, they'll be linked up above. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what it offers. And full disclosure, I was sent this by Carpuride for a review. As you guys have seen some of my recent videos, I've done reviews on other navigation systems. So I'd love to see how this one works. It retails, last I checked, about $250, going on $300 on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it in the description below if you're interested. As I said, full disclosure, this was sent to us by Carpuride. This is a, I believe, Chinese-based company that does automotive navigation solutions, automotive technology solutions. The model number is actually not listed on this box. As I said, I believe it's the W702, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But it's not actually labeled on the packaging, which is kind of interesting. What it tells us is that this is a 7-inch IPS touchscreen with Bluetooth and voice controls. It's IP67 rated, so it claims. Supports CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto with Bluetooth. If we look at the side, again it says Bluetooth, IP67 claimed rating. It supports compatibility. I don't know what that means. TF card, voice control, and music. There's a picture of what it could look like mounted to your bike. I'm assuming it comes with a mount. So inside, it's packaged pretty well. It's got decent foam all the way around. And here's our screen. And my initial impression is that this 7-inch screen is huge. The actual screen itself has about a 1/2 inch on both sides, so it's about an 8-inch total diagonally. And this thing is going to be pretty difficult to mount on a handlebar, I would think. But let's go ahead and give it a try. On the side, we have a power button. We have a place for an SD card, micro SD card. We have our ball socket, like a RAM mount, and we have our power connector and serial number. Power connector is already connected to a wire. Let's see if we can get that out. So the wire it's connected to has a quick connect lock on it, and then it runs to some very thin leads for the power connectors that's apparently going to run to a 12-volt source, whether it's battery or wiring it into something else. It doesn't have battery terminals on it, it's just clean ends. In the package, we have a USB connector to go in place of this quick connector, just using a USB source. And we have our mount. This has a U-clamp handlebar mount. Looks pretty solid, feels like it's metal, so I think that's pretty solid. It's got a bar reducer in there. It actually looks pretty good. And we have essentially a RAM mount ball connector here, kind of a medium length. So it seems like a pretty solid solution. I actually like that a lot. We also have a small wrench in case we need a small wrench. This is, I'm guessing, for the handlebar mount. Yep, it fits those well. And we have our instruction manual. Still doesn't say the model number. As I mentioned, I do like that it's a ball socket on the back, kind of a RAM mount style mounting system. This has become very common in the motorcycle world. There's a lot of accessories that you may already own that use this. So replacing our phone mount on our handlebars here, this was a very easy installation. That was not difficult at all. It seemed pretty secure. I like this mounting solution. The included hardware is going to mount exactly like this, with the actual socket itself coming off, and then having this adaptable double ball system to align the screen wherever you want it. That kind of leads me into a little concerning problem. As indicated on the box here, with the cruiser with this screen just above it, and another cruiser with this screen hanging off, kind of in this fashion, I have two main concerns here that I'm a little bit worried about. One is that I can't see my gauge cluster, so I can't see how fast I'm going. This thing is massive. I think it's going to be kind of difficult to find a bike that this really works with this ball style mount, RAM style mount, meant for handlebars, without blocking anything unique. This is a massive screen. That also brings up another concern, that on the bikes shown in the packaging, bikes like this with no wind protection to speak of, This is a pretty big sail kind of sticking there, so I'm curious how secure this is going to be. There's going to be a lot of wind force on the back of this thing, and that worries me just a little bit with what I've seen with similar products. But we'll go ahead and give it a try. As I said, this quick connector here, very easy to work with. Just takes a 12-volt lead, wherever you want to get that from. Ignition source would be my recommendation, so it comes on when your bike comes on. It's just a positive negative. If you have a USB cord free, this will attach to that as well to make installation super quick and easy. So we've had the chance to test out this system, the Carpuride W702, and overall I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with this. It does fix a lot of the shortcomings of some of the previous units I've tested, in that it has all the Bluetooth channels you need. It has the input Bluetooth channel and associated Wi-Fi connection, which gives us our Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, depending on what you use. And it also supports Bluetooth out to a helmet communicator or similar. That makes this very usable for motorcycles. I like this a lot. It works really well. This screen is nice and big, and whether or not you have it on just straight maps or use the full Android Auto setting, it works pretty well. It's pretty responsive, and I have no real complaints with it. The only real difficulty I've had is that once Android Auto boots up, there's no like swipe down for menu like you'd get from a typical tablet. There's really no way to exit Android Auto that I found. So here's our screen when we turn it on. We do a display off option, which is kind of cool. When we go to our Bluetooth setting, here's where we pair all our devices. We can see we already have our Pixel 8 Pro, and when we pair our helmet communicators, we do it from this screen. Now automatically, without pressing any buttons, we go directly into Android Auto, which is what my Pixel 8 supports, or Apple CarPlay if you're using a Mac product, which I think is pretty cool. But that does mean you only have access to the settings of this device right when you turn it on, or if you disconnect your phone. Now another thing I like about this is it comes with two different power adapters. It has a USB-A power adapter, looks like that, and has a normal 12-volt wiring adapter if you're going to wire it straight to the battery. That gives us a lot of utility and a lot of usefulness. If you're going to use this in a vehicle, I think it's a compelling option. It's a pretty big screen with that 7-inch touchscreen. Any sort of ram mount adapter, which is still pretty common even in the automotive space, will work in this device, and you can just plug it straight into your USB jack for power, and it has a Bluetooth out for any sort of auxiliary input you have on your device. That way you can have working wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay in any vehicle. Pretty phenomenal. The fact that this is waterproof and dustproof, IP67 rated, at least claimed, the ability to use this on a motorcycle is also fantastic. It is a little bit large, like I said. That is probably the biggest thing I have marking against it. Makes it hard to see instrument clusters on any sort of vehicle that it is advertised on, anything with handlebars. A little bit difficult, and also is going to catch a whole lot of wind. But otherwise, it has a nice anti-glare coating that makes it pretty usable, and the quality of this screen is pretty good. Now personally, I don't think it's going to replace something like the Garmin that I'm using currently on my Multistrada, which is overall a brighter and a little bit higher quality system. That said, that is still not bad. For the price difference, it's pretty easy for me to recommend the Carpuride W702 as opposed to the Garmin, just because the Garmin is significantly more expensive. It does offer more utility, especially for motorcycles, but if you're just looking for something that allows you to keep your phone in your pocket, get navigation, get music, and be able to use that stuff a little bit easier while on the go, either on a motorcycle or a car, this system works well. Carpuride does have a couple other options as far as smaller screens, a couple different features. The feature set of this particular unit seems actually very nice. I do enjoy it a lot. I think it's a pretty good setup. Maybe a slightly smaller screen might be a little bit more beneficial for a typical motorcycle, but if you have the handlebar space to mount one of these things and get it away from your dash cluster, that way from a riding position you can see them both. I know this is a Yamaha MT-03, therefore the handlebar is a little bit shorter. Some of the larger cruisers or bikes with larger handlebars might be able to set this off a little bit more to the side, that way it's not interfering with your actual dash of the bike, and still provides you very visible, easy to use navigation. I'm pretty impressed with the construction of this device. I know it is claimed to be IP67 rated, which makes it not fully submergible for any length of time, but anything that you're going to face as far as rain, high speed water, high pressure water, this thing should be able to handle it. I don't automatically see any major points of ingress on it. Everything seems to be sealed pretty well all the way around it. It does have a nice sun shield that's built into it. It does not look removable, which is okay. And it has a clear anti-glare coating on the actual lens itself, a little anti-glare strip that's over it. So it should be pretty visible in all lighting conditions. Overall, I do want to thank Carpuride for sending me this. I think it's a pretty tempting offer. I really do, for any sort of motorcycle navigation solution. I will leave a link down to this in the description below if you guys are interested. There's been some people that have talked bad about it online. From the biggest things I get are the overall size of it being inconvenient. It is a large device for sure. You have to make sure you have room for this thing. But if you have anything larger than an MT-03 and have the handlebar space to be able to mount one of these things, I think you have a really good option for motorcycle navigation at a pretty fair price, realistically. I will be happy to respond to you guys in the comments if you have any questions about this device in particular. As I said on previously reviewed devices, the biggest limitations they had is they wouldn't then Bluetooth out to a helmet communicator, which this now will. And I think that was the biggest flaw I've run into in the past. This thing solves that and offers a very big clear screen that seems to get bright enough for most usage. The overall screen brightness may not be absolutely perfect for the brightest of days in direct sunlight. It does seem a little bit dimmer than maybe needed for that one exact scenario. But otherwise, I think this thing really checks all the boxes. As always, thanks for watching 4K Motoring. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. As I said, if you have any questions about this particular unit, it's a fantastic value for what it offers, but if you have questions, leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks again to Carpuride for sending this out to us. If you have a different system you prefer to use, let me know, and we'll catch you next time.